Hey, what's up? I'm Patrick Stump, and I just want to say hi to Entertainment Focus.
You've been in London before, obviously, with the band, but you've had a few solo gigs as well recently. How's that been? How's the response been?
The solo shows have been great. I think the first round of them, I think a lot of people were coming out going, expecting Fall Out Boy, expecting me to play Fall Out Boy music and that kind of stuff. And when they figured out that that wasn't what it was going to be, I think the second round was the second round of touring that I did was a little bit more fun actually, because people started coming to the show knowing what to expect.
Do you still get the same fan base, or is it changing?
I think the fan base is changing. It's weird. It's still in transition. I think there still are a lot of I think the vast majority of people that know about me right now are still Fall Out Boy fans and that kind of stuff. But I'm kind of taking the hard route. It's going to take some time, but I think that the music itself is different enough and hopefully valid. And I think it's valid enough. I think it's good. I think it's something that should have an audience. So it's just a matter of finding that audience.
Yeah, 'cause, from what I read from the album is coming out soon, you've had a lot of input in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you wrote everything and you played almost every instrument, I think.
Okay.
But it seems completely different to what you've done before. Did you always know you wanted to do something, a solo career, have a solo career?
I didn't always know I wanted to have a solo career, but I did always know that I wanted to do something different. Because at the end of the day, I love Fall Out Boy, but if you had to call us any kind of band, if you call us a pop punk band or an emo band or anything like that, Fall Out Boy is the only one of those bands that I really liked. It's not like we weren't, it wasn't like that kind of music really was where my heart was or anything. It was that band was something that I could really get behind. I loved us. I loved making music in that band. But then musically, as far as and I think style is a really ultimately superficial kind of thing, because it really doesn't matter. A good song is a good song, whether it's a reggae song or a blues song or whatever. But still, the style of a lot of, not the style of Fall Out Boy again, but the style of what people thought we were, I don't think I really liked. So it was always something that I wanted to, I always wanted to do something different. And it's funny because, to a lot of people, what I do, it's kind of, 80s R&B and funk and soul stuff or whatever. To a lot of people, that's cheesy and not cool, not serious music. And to me, that's really something that I love. That's what something that's always moved me. So I really wanted to do something. Yeah, I really wanted to get behind that.
Isn't it maybe because in the States, over here, people think the same way about indie music because the market is so saturated?
Yeah.
Do you reckon that maybe in the States that's the reason?
Well, I think definitely on a surface level, what I'm doing kind of looks like a lot of pop music, but I think when you dig into the record, it's really very different. It's really and I think that's one of the things. That's the challenge. That's the big challenge, is because it is not only is it different than Fall Out Boy, but it's different than a lot of stuff that anyone's making right now. Anyway, it's very indebted to Prince and Michael Jackson, but it's also I'm still pretty angry and all the things that got me into punk rock. I want to discuss things that I want to discuss politics, and I want to discuss kind of, I don't know, culture and then there are weird little jazzisms, and there's a lot of experimental kind of, there's an experimental streak that kind of has a little bit of that Bowie or Brian Eno kind of stuff in there. So there's all these things that on the surface looks like a pop record, but I call it parallel evolution, where it's sometimes there are animals that look like each other that don't have anything, that aren't related at all. That's kind of what I feel like with my music and pop music that's on the radio right now, is that like I don't really think that my stuff, I wasn't coming from the same place as a lot of other pop artists. So.
Well, I think a lot of people are mixing genres.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, so.
It definitely, and that's the other thing too, is I think there's something coming that I feel like a little bit of a part of. There's, when I look at what Janelle Monáe is doing, or I look at Bad Rabbits, or even kind of to a certain extent what Bruno Mars is doing, like there is this pop thing, but there's a lot of other elements in there that I feel some sort of kinship with that.
So tell me about the single that's being released next week over here.
Oh, I didn't know this.
This city. I think I got the gist of it, but tell me about the single first, when you wrote it.
So one of the things that I really wanted to do with my first record was kind of wipe the slate clean as far as expectations, and kind of try things that I specifically couldn't try in Fall Out Boy. And one of those was, lyrically, I wanted to do some. There's some songs where I'm still fairly verbose and really playing with the English language, but there are some songs where I wanted to be really direct and really simple. I wanted to experiment with lyrics that were really easy to understand, because I feel like there's an art to that. That you can say a lot sometimes with very, very few words and very small words, And so I was thinking about cities and cultures and how, I don't know, like I come from Chicago. Chicago is a notoriously segregated city, and when I say segregated, I mean every culture like has a pocket, So there's Ukrainian Village, and there's Little India, and there's there's Greek Town, and there's all these towns, But then at the same time, that's Chicago. That's those cultures are all these cultures, but it's, if you say you're Ukrainian and you're from the Ukrainian Village in Chicago, that's a different experience than being from the Ukraine. Like whatever. If you say you're Chicago Irish, that's a different thing than being Irish. And so I was thinking about that kind of thing, and how there are all these cultures on top of each other, and you really don't get to be an island in the city. You don't get to be closed off. You have to interact with each other. And so and that was something that I guess I feel really optimistic about, is that is that cultures have to interact with each other, and the world gets smaller in a good way because of cities. So I wanted to play with that, and then I also wanted to play with just the idea of like, I don't know, I feel like some cities have been made to feel invalid, and I thought that was really lame. Like New Orleans, all this stuff happened in New Orleans, and I saw people in the American media being like, they should just move. I'm like that's not,
that's the city.
Yeah,
just move.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so I wanted a song about that. So again, the lyrics are really simple, but it's because I wanted to deal with something so big that there's not really, if you made it too much more complicated, I think it would have fallen apart.
Yeah.